Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Movie Time with Chris. The channel devoted specifically to movies, movie birthdays, movie reviews, trailer discussions, box office predictions, and some special videos along the way. Now, hey, if that sounds like something that you're into, if you love the movie reviews, if you want the trailer discussions, if you love to compete in box office predictions, if you just love movies, subscribe to this channel. You're going to get all that great content and then some. So today's video, I do have a lot to go over, so it's going to be a bit longer, but I do want to start this video off by saying a huge thanks and a shout out to Custom T-Shirts and More. They're the ones who actually helped me out with creating the shirts that I have now. So hey, if you're interested in a shirt, just go ahead and email me. I'll have my email at the end of the video, and let me know if you want one, or in the comment section below. But they're located in Orlando Square, right off of Sand Lake Boulevard and Orange Blossom Trail here in Orlando, Florida. They have 403 reviews on Google, and all 403 give them 5 stars because the service is unbelievable. So check them out if you need anything custom made. So, like I said, we do have a lot to go over in this video. I've got a lot of notes just to kind of keep me on track and keep this going so I don't lose my spot. So we're going to go ahead and start right off the bat with our movie birthdays. So the movies celebrating, this is going to be a busy one just because the week of Christmas, there's a lot of things that come out. Things come out a few days before, 2 days before, the day of. So with this being the week of Christmas, there are a lot of movies celebrating birthdays. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right into it. So celebrating their 5th birthday this week, we have Joy, Point Break, Daddy's Home, The Revenant, and Concussion. Again, I'm not going to go into these movies as much as I'd love to because some of these movies I think are great. Trying to keep this a little bit shorter. I do have a doctor's appointment I have to get to for my back. So we're going to keep this moving. Celebrating their 10th birthday this week, we have Gulliver's Travels, obviously the remake. True Grit, again, obviously the remake. Country Strong, and Little Fockers. Excuse me. Celebrating their 15th birthday this week, the teenagers, we have Casanova, Rumor Has It, Munich, Match Point, Cheaper by the Dozen 2, and Fun with Dick and Jane. And it's crazy to think Cheaper by the Dozen had a sequel 15 years ago, and already Disney's going to remake that movie. No originality. Moving on to the adults celebrating their 20th birthday this week, we have Before Night Falls, State and Maine, Dracula 2000, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, Miss Congeniality, Castaway, 13 Days, Finding Forrester, and The Family Man. And let me just go ahead and say, just like last week's video with the birthdays, the 2000 movies really seem to have dominated. They were, I guess, just a great time to be alive and go to the movies. So anyone too young to have gone to the movies in 2000, I'm sorry, but for the rest of us that feel old now, those were good times to go see those movies. But anyway, with this being the week of Christmas, I'm briefly going to touch on a few movies that I enjoy that are Christmas movies. This is completely separate from my previous list where I talked about Christmas movies that weren't really Christmas movies. These are, when you think of these, it's Christmas that you're thinking of. That's it. But these are just a few of my favorites. Uh, I love Christmas. I love the holiday season, the music. So there's a lot of movies, but just to narrow it down to a few, I have as almost an honorable mention from my last video with Christmas movies that aren't Christmas movies, but falls into this category of strong Christmas movies, um, is The Ref. I think this movie's hilarious. It's so funny. It's so great. And it's straight Christmas all through. So this one definitely made it on my list. But I also have Miracle on 34th Street, the original version. I have How the Grinch Stole Christmas, Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Obviously, again, the original, the cartoon that was only like 23 minutes long. If you throw in commercials, it's like 30 minutes and it gets everything done, covers the whole story. I think it's so much better than the live action, and I didn't even see the last cartoon that they did with it. So to me, this one was the best. Don't touch it, leave it alone. Uh, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Talk about funny. This movie, oh my God. And the craziest thing is that a lot of Christmas movies finish on Christmas, so to speak, or cover Christmas. Uh, Christmas Vacation never gets to Christmas Day. It's, it's just the craziness that the Griswolds go through leading up to Christmas is just great. And I love it. I love it. That's all I can say. It's a great movie. Um, Obviously, you can't talk about Christmas Day without talking about Christmas Story. TBS, TNT, one of those T channels, they play it 24 hours, starting at 8 p.m. Christmas Eve to 8 p.m. Christmas Day, back to back, nonstop. Um, you just can't think about Christmas without thinking about Christmas Story and Ralphie with his Red Ryder BB gun. So that one's on my list. And the one that I probably saw after all the others on this list, that the funny story how I got turned on to this movie. I was at Sears at the mall in Bayshore, Long Island, New York. And one of the sales reps turned me on to It's a Wonderful Life and said, if you haven't seen this movie, you need to go home and watch it. And I was like, sure, why not? I love movies. I'll go home and watch it. Love that movie. Absolutely love that movie. It's probably one of the greatest Christmas movies there is. And if you haven't seen it, you need to watch it. I think they have it right now on Amazon Prime. So check it out. It's well worth it if you haven't seen it. If you have seen it, you know what I'm talking about. This movie's great. But again, trying to keep it short. We're already over 9 minutes, almost 9.5 minutes. Few things I just want to touch on. There was a lot of movies I saw this week. And I just want to kind of do quick reviews for each one. So I went ahead and purchased War with Grandpa. I purchased it on Vudu with Robert De Niro, and I was a little disappointed that the movie was as short as it was because it was so enjoyable to watch. And Robert De Niro is just a great actor, and this movie was just amazing. It really was. It had a lot of good laughs. I was chuckling throughout. Again, my only disappointment was that the movie was, as short as it was. They could have kept it going for another 20 minutes and they still would have had me hooked. Um, but hey, if you want to spend a good hour and a half with a good laugh, check out War with Grandpa. It's good. Excuse me. I also watched a few movies here on Amazon Prime. I watched 7500 with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, where he's a pilot and the plane gets hijacked and they're supposed to set their transponder to, I think it's like 7500, kind of lets them know that they were hijacked. And it's an interesting movie. This one I have a reverse of War with Grandpa, where with War with Grandpa, I felt the movie should have been a little bit longer. 7500, I felt this movie should have been a little shorter. I do feel it dragged a little bit, but it was very interesting to see things from the perspective of the pilots and what they have to do and what happens and all of that. It was very interesting to see, and I enjoyed it. I mean, obviously, having lived in New York during 9/11 and all the movies that have come out since then, this kind of excuse me, this kind of rang a tune of that to me. But otherwise, it was an all right movie, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt is a good actor, so the performance was well done. And if you haven't seen it and you want to check it out, go ahead. Again, I do feel it's a little long, but it was good. I also watched The Wall on Prime, and this movie, I literally had to watch it twice because it put me to sleep the first time. Um, it's I don't know. I saw a movie probably a year ago. I think it was called like Mine, where there's a soldier walking through the desert. He steps on a landmine, and that's the whole movie. Like he's stuck in this one spot with his foot on a landmine, and this kind of felt like that. It's just stuck behind a wall with the sniper shooting at you, and you can't move, and it was just it was dull. It really was. It was dull. I've got to say though, the ending, the way that this movie ended, amazing. If they had put that kind of thought into the rest of the movie, this movie would have been the greatest thing ever. Because that ending, amazing. But that's really the only good part of the movie, in my opinion. The rest of it, you could skip the whole movie. Just watch the last maybe 15 minutes, and wow. Wow. That's wow. Um, I also watched Safety on Disney Plus. I saw this movie when I was just scrolling through Disney Plus, and I've been hearing about it, on the radio, some commercials during drive time, and I'm like, let me check this movie out. I love those feel good sports movies. Remember the Titans, Invincible, uh, Cool Runnings, all those feel good sports movies. I love them. Miracle. They're great. And the stories are just amazing and emotional to see and to know that so many of these things really happened. And so to watch this one, it was very good. Um, it was enjoyable. It's a Disney movie. It's Disney Plus. It is based on the true story, though. Um, but I do feel it didn't have as, for me anyway, it didn't have as much emotion as some of the others. You know, you can watch, well, I can watch Miracle, and the end of the movie, when the sportscaster says that line, "Do you believe in miracles?" You can almost get choked up by it because of everything that they went through and everything that was going on in the world. And, you know, I don't know, Invincible, you see everything, the troubles that he went through, and no one thought he could make it to the team, and he did. And just, you know, he finally performs well in the game, and he finishes and points up to his friends. And even The Express, you know, which you can see on Hulu, um, you know, just, I watched this. It was a deep movie. There were emotions to it, but I didn't feel it was as emotional as some of those others. But maybe that's just me. You could watch it and bawl your eyes out for all that I know. But again, this is just my opinion. It's my review. But hey, that's that. And two more movies I'm going to touch on. Uh, wow, we're already at almost 17 minutes, so got to keep this short because I have to leave soon. Um, I watched last week. I had seen a movie on Netflix, and I was supposed to cover it, and I didn't, so I'm covering it now. And it was called Spencer Confidential with Mark Wahlberg. And it was refreshing to see this movie where, I don't know, it just, yeah, there were parts of it that were predictable and parts of it that were, you know, unoriginal. But overall, the originality of the movie seemed to be there for me, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And Mark Wahlberg has become such a great actor, you know, coming from his underwear modeling and his Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch to turn to acting, starting with like Renaissance Man. And this movie was just, oh my God. I can watch this movie probably once a week. It was enjoyable. It was good. So many things about it. I mean, just if you have Netflix, if you're stealing someone's Netflix, if you're borrowing someone's Netflix, watch this movie. It's enjoyable, beginning to end. You're gonna love it. It was good. That's all I gotta say. It was good. Check it out. Spencer Confidential. But when I was compiling my list, um, I wanted to go ahead and I couldn't remember the last word of the title. I knew it was Spencer something, and I was like, "Oh my God, what is it?" And I didn't want to go through Netflix to search for it, so I just went on IMDb, searched Mark Wahlberg, looked at his movies, and when I did, I realized that one of his last movies he did was Mile 22, and I watched that movie. It was complete garbage. It was such a waste. I couldn't believe that anyone signed up for that movie. It was terrible. But I saw that in between Mile 22 and Spencer Confidential, he did Instant Family. And I was like, I've never seen that movie. And they have it on Prime, and I have Amazon Prime, so I was like, let me go ahead and check it out. I watched this movie, and I tell you, those feel good sports movies that are true stories, that you get emotional, that's what this one was. It wasn't a sports movie, but you get emotional watching this movie. And to see what they go through and how they came about, just let's adopt, you know, one child, and they wanted a small child, and then they end up with a teenager, and the teenager has siblings, and you're not going to break up the family, so they adopt three kids. And just to see how they struggled but eventually grew to love these kids, and the kids grew to love them, and they became a family. And I mean, if you feel any resentment towards your family, your pets, your friends, your significant others, anyone, watch this movie and that'll go right away. That'll go right away. you'll grow that appreciation for everyone again. So, Instant Family on Prime, check it out. So, okay, we've got two more things I just want to touch on, and then we're going to go ahead and wrap this video up. One thing that I've been meaning to talk about, I didn't know how to talk about it, where to fit it into a video. I figured this video is long enough, let me throw it in there. I wanted to talk about how Sony screwed up the timeline for the MCU. And I know I'm not the only person that could have noticed this, but I'd never hear anyone talking about it. And that's with Spider-Man Homecoming. The beginning of Spider-Man Homecoming starts out with, Michael Keaton's construction crew working on the destruction in New York City right after the events of Avengers. So this is taking place 2012. As soon as, they have to leave the site and they find the extra little alien things and they're like, no, let's keep it, whatever. The screen goes black and it says 8 years later. That would mean that the events of Spider-Man Homecoming take place in 2020, which technically means that this takes place 2 years after the snap, after everyone was snapped away. So technically Spider-Man Homecoming never really happened if you follow the timeline of the MCU. But Sony just ran with it, and then they came out with Spider-Man Far From Home, which takes place after Endgame. So I don't know. That's supposed to be the whole timeline. Sony screwed the whole thing up. And I never hear anyone talking about it, but it bothers me. It's been bothering me for 3 weeks now. Actually longer, but for 3 weeks it's constantly been on my mind, and I've been wanting to talk about it. So there it goes. You screwed up, Sony. But we're at 23 minutes. I just want to talk about 2 trailers, and we're going to go ahead and wrap up this video, not move along. I saw the trailer for Coming to America, the sequel, which is going to be, I guess, on Amazon Prime, or it's an Amazon movie. Maybe it's going to go to theaters. I don't know. It seems like streaming is going to be the future of everything. That's what Kevin Feige was saying. So we'll see what happens with this movie, but excuse me, it looks great. Just a little bit of scenes I saw from it, to bring back Arsenio Hall, Eddie Murphy, with them playing all these other characters, the whole barbershop people, the sexual chocolate, the pastor with the, when I look at these contestants for the Miss Black Awareness pageant, to bring all those characters back. And James Earl Jones is back, and just, they even have Wesley Snipes in it. I mean, the trailer's out. I watched it. I got so excited. I cannot wait for this movie because I love the first one. The first one is amazing. I don't expect anything less from this sequel. So check out the trailer, Coming to America. It came out. Wow. And the last thing here we have is the trailer for The Little Things, with Denzel Washington and Rami Malek and Jared Leto. Almost forgot everyone's names there. Woof. I mean, Denzel basically playing the lead role. Anything Denzel's in is going to be good. He's that good of an actor. He's going to carry whatever movie he's in. It's going to be good. The only thing I didn't like from this trailer that I got from it is I kind of feel like this trailer might be, or this movie might be along the storylines of Dexter, the show from Showtime. I feel like, and if you haven't seen Dexter, it's on Netflix, check it out. But I feel like that's what they were doing with this movie. And God, I hope that I'm wrong. And I hope that they do this movie with something original and not taking that. But otherwise, the movie looks good. Denzel's a local cop, Rami Malek's FBI. They're looking for a serial killer who's presumably Jared Leto. And it just looks really good. So check out that trailer as well, The Little Things. Let me know what you think about that and everything else I've covered in the comment section below. Again, if you want a shirt, let me know in either the comment section or email me. Or if you want to see a video or a topic, email me, movietimewithchris@gmail.com. I'm going to check the email multiple times a day. I get the alerts. I won't miss your message. And whatever you want to see will come up in a future video on this channel. Also, don't forget to check out the Instagram. Again, little snippets, kind of a preview of what's to come on my YouTube channel. So you can see that. Check it out. And again, shout out to Custom T-Shirts and More for the shirts. I love them. They're amazing. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Ring that bell so you don't miss future videos like this video. And until next time, I want to say Merry Christmas, stay safe, and take care.